हैं टिकट मम्मी डैडी की चेक करनी पड़ेगी बाद में, क्लास के बाद चेक करोगे, चेक के बाद करो, क्लास के बाद करोगे, क्लास है मेरी 2 मिनट में। ठीक है। Producer start. Manisha. Good morning, dear learners. Welcome to teaching learning session. In retail management, today we'll discuss about the retail location strategy. Retail location plays a very important role in retailing, right? Many things depends on the retail location, right? Importance of locational decision in retailing, right? Various factors should be considered, should be kept in mind while you are deciding about the location of your retail, right? Why it is important and what all factors should be considered, which you should keep in your mind while deciding about the location, because locational choices is a major cost factor. It involves cost. Whenever you will choose a location, right, cost is involved, right? Right, and that involves a capital investment, that is the cost of the land or the building, if it is purchased, or if reoccurring rent, uh, if it is leased. So cost is involved, financial capital investment is involved. So while choosing the location, one should consider the location, or one should decide after considering each and every aspect of that location, right? Why is it so? Because it involves financial investments, capital investment, and cost factor is involved in that, right? It It affects the transportation cost structure. Distance from the manufacturer distributor affects the cost of the transportation. So, while considering a location to establish a retail house, you should keep in mind various factors that how far off it is from your manufacturer or distributor's location, because it involves the transportation cost, right? Then pay attention towards the cost. um, Pay attention towards location because it involves the financial investment and the cost factors. So uh, it is very important that you should keep all these things, that you should choose your location wisely, because while choosing a location, consider about the distance from the manufacturer or the distributor, because it involves transportation cost. Consider human resource cost, because if it is very far off, then you will not get human resources to work, right? Consider the human resources cost, right? And depends on the quantum of customer traffic, depend on the number of customers who frequently visit that area. If you will not get the customer, and if you have if you have established your retail house somewhere, and you are not getting the customer, then what's the use, right? So consider about the customer traffic. And next is affects the volume of their business. If the number of customer visiting the store are low, then the volume of a business done by the retail store is obviously affected. So it is very important that you should consider many factors before deciding the location of your retail house. The first is, it involves the location. The choosing a location involves the cost factor. So choose wisely. It involves capital investment. If you purchase that land or the building, it involves the cost. Or if you take that on lease, then there is a recurring cost of rent, right? So choose wisely, and consider the distance of your retail house from your manufacturer or the distributor, because it will impact the transportation cost. Next, consider the cost of human resources, right? Next, consider the footfall of the customer, or consider the quantum of the customer traffic. All these things affects the volume of the business. So be wise, wisely choose the location of for your business, right? There are various aspects of locational decision and influencing factors, right? Size of the city's trading area. The city's trading area is an area from which customers come to the city for shopping. The city's trading area could include the suburbs as well as neighboring cities and the towns. So consider the size of city's trading area. How many? What will be the quantum of your customers? How many customers you will get? Will you be able to cater the that particular town or the city, or whether the city trading area, that where you are where you are thinking to open your retail house, will that trading area could include the suburb as well as the neighboring cities and the towns from where the customers will come for shopping, or come to shop from your retail house. So a size of the city's trading area, that is considered uh, that is the area from which customers come to the city for shopping, whether it is from the from a small location the people will come there, or whether that trading area covers that particular location as well as the suburbs and the neighboring cities and the towns. So it is very, because it will decide the quantum of your customer size. If you are able to cater that particular area as well as the neighboring cities and the suburbs of the cities, right, then there are the chances that you will get more customers. Then the population of the trading area. High growth in the population of area can also increase the retail potential, right? So again, next thing is the population of that trading area where you are, the area where you are trading, or the where you are opening a retail house. What is the population of that area? If the population is more, then there is chances of increase in the business. If population is less, then it might affect your business, right? Then after they see, first is the size of the city's trading area, how, to whom you can cater, then the population of that trading area. Apart from this, the purchasing power of the customer. Even if the population of trading area is more, they don't have a purchasing power. So consider the purchasing power of the customer. Cities with a large population, with having affluent and upper middle class customer, can be attractive location for stores selling the premium products such as designer clothes or even expensive cars, which have limited retail outlets. So, what is the purchasing power of the customer and what type of products you are selling, right? Think about it, what type of products you are selling, who is your target customer, and where you are, and the place where you are opening your retail house, or the location where which you are considering for your retail house. What is the paying capacity or the purchasing capacity of the customers, whether they are able to purchase your product or not, right? After considering the population of the trading area or the size of the city's trading area, if the purchasing power, if you are selling a premium products which the cost which are costly, right, and the purchasing power of the customer is not that much, then you cannot survive there. So consider the purchasing power of the customer, whether the customer are able to will purchase, whether they will have a, whether they have a purchasing power or not. Then distribution network. A city may become specialized in certain lines of trade and attract customers from other cities. Distribution cities is distribution network is where you can the to whom you can cater, right? That is the distribution center. The number, size and the quality of competition, it is very important that you should be aware about your competitors. You should have thorough knowledge about your competitors. How many competitors are there in that particular area? What is the size of your competitor, whether they are a big size giant competitors or a small, and the quality, what type of quality competition you will have. It is important to undertake the detailed study about the number of retail players across segments, their sales, and the quality of the services before selecting a city. So it is very important that you should consider the number, size. You should be well versed with your competitors. Next is cost of land, rent, and other retail development cost. It is very important. You should consider the cost of the land if you are planning to purchase that land, or the rent if you wanted to rent out something, then you should consider the rent and other retail development costs, because this is one of the key factors affecting the attractiveness of the city as a prospective retail location. If the cost of the rental or the cost of land is very high, it would be difficult for a retailer to break even, especially if he is dealing the product of the lower margin. right? If the margin is low, then how can you afford that high rent or the cost of that land? So while you are considering the location, there are various aspects or there are various factors which influence the location decision one should consider. That is the size of the trading area, the population of that trading area, the purchasing power of the customers, the distribution network number, that is a competition you will face, or the cost of the land rent and other retail development costs. One should consider all these things. All these factors impact the location decision of the retailing, right? So all these factor impacts the location decisions of retailing. Evaluation of factors for location of the store, the qualitative and quantitative dynamics of competitive store. Prospective retailers should evaluate the product lines carried by the other stores, number of stores in that area before selecting a specific area. Competition is very important. You should be well versed with your competitors before choosing a location. Do the SWOT analysis, right? SWOT analysis, that is strength, weakness, opportunities, and the threat, right? Threats are your competitors, right? Do the qualitative and competitive analysis, qualitative and quantitative analysis of your competitors, right? Qualitative and quantitative dynamics, that is the evaluate the product lines carried by the other stores, what they are selling, right? What product lines are carried out by other stores, the number of stores in that particular area, right? And what type of services they are providing. So you should be well versed with your competitors. Whether the area or the shopping center provide easy access routes. Next is, apart from the competition, whether that area where you are where you are where you want to open up a retail store, whether that area or the shopping center is easily accessible, or it is very far off for the people, or it is somewhere in secluded area. So this is very important that the shopping center provide the easy access route so that customer can come easily, right? Next is, whether there are any traffic jams or congestion on the routes to the selected location. Consider, first of all, consider about the competition, that the accessibility of that area to the customer, whether the customer whether that area is easily accessible to the customer or not. Even if the area is easily accessible to the customer, then consider about the traffic jam and the congestion. If there is a lot of traffic or the congestion in that route, people usually avoid those routes and those places because they don't want to spend much time, or they don't want to waste that much time in traffic jams or the congestion. They prefer to go to some other place, right? To consider the traffic jams and the congestions on the roads, whether there are any zoning regulation of the city as per the plans of zoning commission and municipal corporation regarding the development of shopping center, residential areas, flyover, etc. Then consider various rules and laws related to that zone, whether there are the zoning regulation made by the zoning planning commission or the municipal corporation, right? That is regarding the development of the shopping center, whether they will develop the shopping center further or they will abolish that shopping center because of the certain other development programs, right? So consider competition, consider about the accessibility of that place to the customers, then consider about the traffic jams and the congestion, and then the various rules and laws related to that particular shopping zone. right? There are the natures of retail locations. What are the natures of retail location? The isolated stores. We can divide it into various forms. The first is isolated stores. What are the isolated stores? These stores have typically no other retail store in close vicinity. That is, your store is the only one in that particular area. There is no, the stores have typically no other retail stores in the close nearby areas or in the close vicinity. The location depends upon the pulling power of their location depends on their pulling power of the customer. The advantage of isolated stores are that there is no competition, the rentals are low as it is not a commercial area. Further, they have a better visibility than other stores. When yours is the only store in that particular area, that is known as isolated store. There are certain advantages of that store. The certain advantage of that store is no competition. You will face no competition. The rents will be low, right? And because it is not a commercial area, and there is a better visibility than the other stores. It is disadvantage is it is difficult to attract the customer as to travel distance may be high, so it is very difficult. People will not prefer to travel that much distance to purchase few things. They will prefer to go to the nearby place. So it is very difficult to attract the customers because yours is the isolated store. If the customer wants, if they are going to the market, they want that they could compare the cost or the product or the quality of the product, then only they make up their mind to purchase the product. And if yours is the only store there, the people, and it is too at the distance place, then people will not prefer to come to your place to travel that much distance, because and there is only one store. They may not get the variety, they will not be able to compare the products. So then it becomes difficult to attract the customer, right? And the lack of variety for the customer that has limited choice of merchandise to select from. That is the second point which I told you, that there could be a limited variety of a customer. Being a retailer, you have certain constraints, right? You cannot keep n number of merchandise, right? So there could be a lack of variety for the customers that has limited choice of merchandise to select from, and people want a lots of choices from where they can choose the one. So they will not prefer to travel that much distance where there is a limited choice of merchandise to select from. Cost could be low, no competition, but again the no customers, or difficult to attract the customers, and high cost of advertising, as initially a high budget will have to be allocated to attract the customer to the store, because your store is at some isolated place, so you have to advertise more. So high cost of advertisement is involved in the isolated stores, just to attract the customers, right? There is no sharing cost like in a shopping center. The isolated stores are the stores you usually find inside the housing colonies, which is a local kirana stores or on the highway as a shopping destination, right? People don't prefer to go to some colony to purchase something or go to the highway to purchase something. They prefer some common area from there, from where they can get a number of things, right? So isolated store is that store which is isolated from the others. No other that is these store typically have no retail store, no other retail store in close vicinity. Advantage of this could be isolated store could be less competition or no competition, and the cost rental cost could be less, and better visibility than other stores. But the disadvantages are many. Disadvantages difficult to attract the customers, right? A lack of difficult because of the distance or because of the lack of merchandise, because customers will get a limited choice to select from. Then the high cost of advertisement is involved to attract the customer. No sharing cost like the shopping centers, right? There is no sharing cost. You have to bear all the cost, right? And uh, uh, next is unplanned markets. So these were the isolated stores. Unplanned markets. There are unplanned markets. What are unplanned markets? The unplanned markets are basically the markets that come up with no systematic planning. For example, the market in the older parts of the cities, where planned markets over the time have become unplanned market due to the poor municipal lanes and unplanned growth of the market. Right? One also finds there are multiple stores selling the same product. Unplanned market is what where those market that come up with no systematic planning. Right? There is no plans for the market, and basically you will find these unplanned market in the older part of the cities. Right? There are so many markets, unplanned markets in each and every city. Right? Uh, now why why we call it a unplanned market? These markets were planned market, but because of pure municipal lanes and unplanned growth of the market, these markets become the unplanned market. You will find that there are multiple stores selling the same products in the unplanned market, right? If you will go to some market, some this type of a market, you will find the same product has been that the same uh, product has that the same you will find the same product in multiple stores or in multiple shops, right? The advantage of unplanned market for retailers are that the rentals are very low, have good access to the public transport and availability of variety for goods of the customers. So these are the advantages of multiple market, unplanned market, that the rentals are very low, right? Because you will find these unplanned market in the older part of the cities, and they might have established years ago, right? So rent is low, and they have a good access to the public transport. Next is the availability of goods for the consumer. You will find the goods, many goods in that particular market. A disadvantage are difficult in attracting the customer. Why it is difficult to attract the customer? Because of lack of proper parking facilities, and no sharing of cost and lack of space for setting up larger outlets or for expansion of the existing outlets, right? Why it is difficult? So is it is easily accessible, right? Rent is low, and variety of goods are available in unplanned market, but there are certain disadvantages. Disadvantages is lack of proper parking facilities. It becomes difficult for people to move to come to that place, and no sharing of costs. Everyone has to bear their own cost if they want to develop their particular shop, or if they want, say in the Diwali season, if they want to they will lighten up their shops or their market, they have to bear their cost. No sharing of cost is there, right? Lack of space for the setting up larger outlets. Usually you will find a small shops in unplanned market because of lack of space for setting up the larger outlets, right? Or for expansion of existing outlets. And next is planned markets. The planned markets are the shopping complexes and the malls. These are the planned markets. The advantage of planned markets are there are well-rounded assortment of stores, making it one shop shopping experience for the entire family. You will get n number n types of the stores where you will get n type of the products, and that's why it become the one-stop shopping experience for the entire family. Everyone will get whatever one wants. The mall have a very large anchor stores which are either departmental stores or stores which have the crowd pulling capacity, right? The disadvantage of such markets are limited flexibility. Rents are high compared to the early described markets. It creates a competitive environment and domination of market by the anchor stores, right? So planned markets are example of planned markets are malls or the shopping complexes, right? Advantages, there are many advantages of the planned market. That is, there is a well-rounded assortment of stores, various type of stores you will find in that mall, right? And it becomes a one stop shopping for the entire family. Next is malls have very large anchor stores. Because of these stores, they have capacity. These stores have the capacity. These stores have a capacity of crowd. These stores have capacity of crowd pulling. They pull the crowds, and when because of these anchor stores pull the crowd, it impacts the business of other stores. Disadvantages, such markets have limited flexibility, rents are high, and it creates a highly competitive environment. Competition could be very high, and domination of market by the anchor store. Because these anchor stores have a crowd pulling capacity, so malls, these planned markets are dominated by the anchor stores, right? Right. There are various techniques of locational assessment and retail location theories, right? How could you um, assess the location of retail store? First is judgmental technique, where there is a heavy reliance on one's gut feeling through environmental scanning, leading to one of the following possibility of locational imitation of the competitors. So, judgmental technique is when you go by your guts feeling. I feel like my intuition says that this place is good place. I don't want to consider any other factor. Because of my experience, because of my intuition, I can find out that this place is good or not. So judgmental technique is that heavily depends on the one's guts feeling or intuitions, or sometime experience is also involved. Then systematic screening technique. What is systematic screening technique? Where the existing retailer assume the size of the market area using general rule of thumb. Survey of current customers, like systematic screening technique is when the existing retailer assumes the size of the market area using general rules of thumb. Survey of current customers, how you analyze that location, what radius or drive time would encompass a certain percentage of all customers, how to identify the preferred market area of a given size, what pattern or indicator to look at the published data on the household. So systematic screening technique when you systematically study each and every aspect of that location, whether that location is easily accessible to the customers, is there any traffic jam or the congestion, uh, the trading capacity of the transport when you consider the transportation cost of that particular trading area, and the area which has been covered by that trading area, right, which has been served by that trading area. That is the systematic screening technique. Through systematic techniques, when you consider various factors and then analyze the location of that particular area. Next is analog technique, where the existing retailer can look for the market area characteristics that are similar to the market area of successful analogous store. What is analog technique? Analog technique is when the uh, when the existing retailer can look for the market area characteristics that are similar to the market area of successful analogous store. When you compare the market area with the market area of successful analogous store, then that is analog technique. Then next is differential analysis. This involves analyzing characteristics like market area, nature of stores, product mix, management strength, size, etc. Thus, they go on to the differentiate between the most successful and least successful location choices. So, differential analysis is it involves analyzing the characteristics like market area. Analog store is see analog technique is where the existing retailer can look for a market area characteristics that are similar to the market area of successful or analogous stores, right? Similar type of a stores or the successful stores. When you compare the market area with that market area, differential analysis is it involves analyzing characteristics like market area and nature of stores, product mix, management strength, size, right? When you analyze the location on the basis of market area, the nature of stores in that market area, the product mix they carry, and the management strength, the size, so on. They go on to differentiate between the most successful and the least successful locational choices, right? When you compare two or more than two market area on differential analysis on the basis of what? On the basis of market area, on the basis of nature of stores, what type of stores are there in that market. When you compare it, the product mix on the basis of the product mix of those stores in that market area. When you compare it on the basis of the management strength and the size of the management, and when you differentiate between the most successful and the least successful locational choices. Why this location is the most successful location for the business, and why the business in this locations are not that successful. That is the differential analysis. Next is a regression analysis, right? A regression analysis involves in determining the level of profitability or revenue across all sites. Perhaps the sales per square feet as a function of set of characteristics and the use of location specific that variable that are most significant. Then you apply regression analysis. Regression analysis is when you determine the level of profitability across all sites. Which site is more profitable as a function set of characteristics, right? Market area analysis. When one can seek market area that have generally desirable characteristics, then gradually build up data from a small area data, depending on one sees is desirable for organization, product and marketing strategies, right? So there are various factors on the basis of there are various techniques on the basis of which You assess the location. First is the judgmental technique. That is when you assess the location on the basis of your judgment or on the basis of your intuition. Then the system second is systematic screening technique, when you systematically survey various factors and then consider the locations for the business, right? Next is analog technique. Analog technique is when you characterize the market or the market area, that are when you look for the market area characteristics that are similar to the market area of successful analogous store. When that market is very successful, the conditions is the conditions of this market is similar to that market. If it is like this, then we can go for that location. Differential analysis is when you differentiate the areas, right? And when you differentiate the areas on the basis of the market area, on the nature of the stores, product mix, management and size, and then you differentiate between the, when you compare it on the basis of this, and when you differentiate on the basis of most successful and least successful locational choices, then regression analysis through regressional technique you can do this. This involves the determining the level of profitability across all site, right? Market area analysis. Then market area analysis is that is generally desirable characteristics and gradually build up data from a small area data, right? So there are various techniques on the basis of which you can choose your locations, right? Retail locational theories. Now, retail locational theories. What are the retail locational theories? Quality and distance theory. What is quality theory and what is distance theory? This theory suggests that footfalls in the retail space, quality and distance theory. Name, right? Pay attention to the name of the theory. Quality and distance theory. This theory suggests that the footfall in the retail space have a direct correlation on the quality of the retailed item and inversely proportional to the distance of the retailer from the consuming population, right? The most common measure of quality is the size, the square feet of the retail space. Distance, of course, can be used the number of metrics, right? So what this theory states, quality and the distance theory. This theory states that the footfall in a retail space have a direct relationship with the quality of the product. If you are offering a good quality product to the customers, then more you will be able to attract more customers, new customer, as well as will be able to retain the old customers. That is, the footfall will increase. There is a direct relationship between the quality of the product you are offering to the customer as well as the footfall. If you are offering a good quality product, then you will be able to retain the old customer as well as will be able to attract the new customer, right? So here the footfall will increase, while there is an indirect relationship between the distance, right? Location and the between the distance and the footfall of the customer. If your this store is at some distance place from the population, then it will be, then people will not prefer to travel to a larger distance, right? There is an inverse relationship to the distance of the retailer from the consumer population. If your store is located at the distance place from the population, then a majority of people will not prefer to move to that place, then the footfall will decrease because there is a inverse relationship. If distance increases, footfall decreases. If distance decreases, footfall increases, right? So there is an inverse relationship. There is a direct correlation between the quality and the footfall, and an inverse relationship between their distance and footfall. So it is very important that you should consider both of these concepts, that your location should, that this location of store should not be very far off from the population, from the area, right? And you should provide a better quality. If you will provide a better quality, there will be a direct relationship. If you are providing, and if your distance of your is distance of your store is not too much from the population, then it will increase the footfall. So there is a direct relationship between the quality and the distance. Sorry, there is a direct relationship between the quality and the footfall, and an inverse relationship between the distance and the footfall. So the both of these aspects are very important: distance and quality. Provide good quality product to the customer, and choose a nearby area for your nearby location for your retail store. Both of these factors will help you to increase the footfall, right? Next is land value theory. What is land value theory? This is used for determining and explaining the arrangement of urban land usage and location of economic activity zone in each area. It goes on to state that competition for a given land area will determine the price of the urban land, and therefore will be bearing on the nature, quality of good merchandised, thereby ensuring the best use of retail spaces affected. Land value. This land value theory determine and explain the arrangement of urban land uses and location of economic activities in each zone area. Competition for a given land area will determine the price of the urban land, and will have bearing on the nature of the quality of goods merchandised, thereby ensuring the best use of retail spaces affected. If you have purchased a land at the higher price, then you will prefer to provide a good quality product so that it could increase the footfall. So land value theory: in urban areas there is an arrangement of the land usage and location of economic zone activities. So it increases the competition, and it increases the value of the land, right? Retail product mix and merchandise strategies. A retailer is into the primary function of buying from some source and making it available to the customer at convenient size and at proper price. This process is known as merchandising. So what is merchandising? What a retailer do? The primary function of retailer is to purchase the product from the some source, and making it available to the end consumer for the final consumptions at the convenient size and the proper price. Right? Am I right? Right? This retailer act as a middleman between the uh, distributor or the manufacturer and the consumer, right? A retailer purchases a product from the distributor or a manufacturer and provide it to the final consumer, and make it available to the final customer or the consumer at convenient size and at the right price. And this process is known as merchandising, that is purchasing from the manufacturer or the distributor and providing it to the consumers for the consumptions at convenient size and proper price, and this is known as merchandising. Merchandises comprises of planning, right? What to purchase for the outlet, what is in demand, how much to purchase, and what price to purchase, then maintain the proper stock, and finally pricing them for selling purpose. What is merchandising? Merchandising is taking product or purchasing product from someone and providing it to the customer. This process of merchandising involves many processes. It involves a proper planning. It requires a proper planning. Proper planning in what sense? Proper planning means a retailer should know what to purchase for the outlet so that it could be reset. Which product is in demand? So what to purchase for the outlet? You should have a plan for this. How much to purchase and at what price to purchase? How much stock or the inventory has to be maintained, and at what price it should be sold. At what price you have purchased, and at what price you will sell off that product. So it involves a lot of planning. Merchandising involves a lot of planning. What to purchase, when to purchase, how much to purchase, right? At what price to purchase, and at what price to sell. How much inventory is required, how much inventory should be maintained, right? So that is merchandising. Cross merchandising. Another term is cross merchandising. What is this? Each retailer wants to boost his sale. The increase in the sales can be either through the main line of the product which he is stocking, or the complementary goods which may arouse interest in the customers. Maintaining stocks of the complementary goods along with the main line is known as the cross merchandising. Right? If you are selling one product, right, everyone wants to boost up the sale, right? The one way to boost up the sale is through the main line of the product. Just sell your main product, or the increase in the sale either through the main line of the product which a retailer is stocking, or you can boost up the sale through complementary goods which may arouse these complementary good may arouse the interest in the customer. Maintaining stocks of this complementary good along with the main lines good is known as the cross merchandising. You are boosting up the sale through main line product as well as through a complementary product, and maintaining that stock of complementary products along with the main line product is known as cross merchandising. What are the objectives? First is diversity in the requirement of the customers. The taste of customer changes frequently. Within no time, the taste of customer changes. And every customer has a different requirement. Suppose if take an example of a coffee. Someone prefers Nescafe, someone prefers brew, and someone prefers some other coffee. So there is diversity in the requirement of the customer. Fashion or the market trends, because the taste of the customer changes frequently. Within no time, that trend or the taste of the customer changes. And then suppliers' capacity to supply. Then the competitors' merchandising strategies and warehousing capacity and warehousing cost. Right? So these are the objectives of merchandising. While you are while you are thinking about the merchandising, think about all these things that Every customer, there is a diversity in the requirement of the customer, the taste of the customer. So what all product you what all product, like for a particular product, what all brand should be there? Is it feasible to keep all brands? Then the taste changes frequently. Then how much inventory is to be maintained? Then think about the supplier's capacity to supply. Whether my supplier is capable to supply the product, how much inventory I should maintain. The competition merchandising strategies, how my competitor is working, what is my competitors merchandising strategy, you should be aware of that. And warehousing capacity and warehousing cost, how what is the capacity of your warehouse, and how much cost is involved in the warehouse. You should consider all these things. Planning, merchandising planning. So merchandising planning involves the type of the product which you are planning to sell. Merchandising is what? That is buying the product and supplying that product to the customer. That is merchandising. The type of merchandise means what type of what all products you are planning to keep in your store. Types of merchandise. What type of merchandise? What type of products will be there in your store? Then think about the merchandising objectives. What are the objectives? We discussed about the objectives. Then think about each and every objective and how will you achieve your objectives, as there is a diversity in the requirement. How will you fulfill this? The taste changes, how much inventory is to maintain, how will you manage your suppliers, right? So merchandising objectives. Then think about the objectives and how will you achieve your objectives. Then category or unit forecast, it is very important. You cannot purchase in bulk, right? It is very important that you should forecast what is the demand for a particular product in the market, and according to the demand you should purchase that product, right? If demand is less and if you have stocked more, that if the stock of a particular product is more and that product is moving slowly in the market, or that or not at all moving, then it is wastage of resources. And if some product, if you have maintained a low stock of a certain product and that is in high demand, then you are losing the business. So it is very important that you should forecast, unit forecast. Category or unit forecast means how much what is the demand of that particular product in the market, and how much you should maintain and decide about the inventory of that product. Next is budget. Consider about your budget, right? Do you have how much money you have and how much you can invest in? Budgeting is very important. Consider about the budget, how much money you have, and under various heads how much you will spend. Then strategic considerations. While you are strategic considerations includes many things like the location, about the advertisements or the marketing of your products, as well as your retail house, right? And to whom you will purchase, right? And how your product will move. Consider about the transport, how the product will be transported to you, or consider about the warehouse and the cost involved in warehousing, right? So all these involves a strategic consideration. Consider all these things. Then the timing is very important. Timing, like in festive season there is more demand for a certain product, or the products move fastly than other times, right? Then strategic assortment planning should be there. That there should be, how will you assort your product, it should be strategically planned. So merchandising involves all these things. Types of merchandise. Essentially, merchandising is of two types. Staple or basic merchandise comprises of daily needs product as well as those commodities which customers buy frequently throughout the year, like groceries. These are the staple or basic merchandise. We need it on a daily basis. Clothes, right? Fashion. While fashion merchandise comprises of luxury items as well as products related to fashion styles and status, those are fashion merchandise which are required, that are the luxury products or the items are the fashion merchandise, right? Which are not required frequently or which are not in much demand, right? So the type of merchandise, what type of merchandise you will keep, type of merchandise, what type of products you will keep, whether you will keep a staple or the basic merchandise, or whether you will keep some fashion or other luxury merchandise, right? Then category or unit forecast. Forecast put logic behind acquiring a particular assortment of goods as well as the quantities to be ordered. It is worth mentioning that the authenticity of forecasting procedure make it dependable. We discussed about this. Budget. Every retailer would like to keep the right quantity of the merchandise in the right place at the most suitable time, month, or the season because of the limited budget. You should have a proper budget. How much money you have, how much money you want to spend, or you have to spend under various head, right? Because you want money for purchase of the product, because you want money, some money for the advertisement, because you want money for to pay the rents and other things. So make a proper budget. Strategic consideration, I discussed it with you that each store starts planning with the financial objective. So strategically think about each and everything. Timing plays a very important role, right? I discussed it. Assortment is planning. Each retail style is looking for return on the assortment, right? Category. Next is category. Now, what is category? Category is an assortment of items with a reasonable degree of sustainability. Assortment of items. Category can be defined in terms of brands, nature of the product, specific consumer preferences. We categorize the product. Categorize the product on various bases. What is that? Is a category is nothing but the assortment of items, right? Assortment of the items. How we assort the product? We assort the product on the basis of the brand. Suppose electrical fan, right, or a geyser. We assort the same product on the basis of a brand, Havels, Bajaj, V-Guard, or others, right? So on the basis of brand, we make a category. Or electrical goods or electronic goods, it could be the category electronic goods. Kitchen, we can categorize on the basis of groceries or the kitchen goods, right? Or fashion or luxury, right? Nature, we can categorize on the nature of the product, perishable or non-perishable product. Or we can categorize on the specific consumer preferences. So that is the assortment of items within the reasonable degree of sustainability is category, right? That's all for today. We'll continue with this in our next lecture. Thank you very much. Namaskar.